evening and good night to some of you. This is a very special broadcast, and of course, we must pray. And prayer we must, this very evening and always going forward. And I will pray in the language of heaven, because Igbophobia is in control of all that we have been doing and will continue to do until Biafra is restored and all the suffering indigenous populations in the damnable Zoological Republic are set free. Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile Igbophobia banye ndefe wena aja ha nsọ ya mma mgbe niile. Onye ọbụla na ya na-achị eluigwe n'ụwa na-agba akaebe ịhụnanya gị na ebere gị amara gị n'ọmịiko gị ebe ndị gị na-eze ebede ngọzi. Anyị wee na-etoghị agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro. Iwe nye anyị ndụ ala nke dị n'uwere n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-asị na ịja mma niile otu niile dịrị aha nsọ gị. Onye ọ bụ naanị aka ike niile na ọ gbadara aka ya. Anyị wee na-akpọku gị na-asị gị na nke ọma anyị ga-ekele gị, nke ọjọọ ma anyị kelee gị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma, wee na-eto gị, wee na-asọpụrụ gị n'isi ụmụ gị niile bụ ndị ikwu ndị wee ezu oku mgbe a kpọrọ ha ka ha wee chekwa ala nsọ gị bụ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na ihe n'ikwere anyị nkwa na o mekataghị ka ndị iro wee were ala nsọ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe. Agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro ma ndị na-agba mgbọgba ebe niile dị iche iche onye nwe m na Chineke nna ihere bụ nke ndị dị etu a n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-eto gị, wee na-asị onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta, onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na ọtụtụ na ịja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise ise ise.
Welcome, fellow Biafrans. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining from. I say, may Igbophobia guide and protect you. I appreciate every one of you who have joined on this very broadcast today. We are going to be very brief, but we are going to touch a very important issue. Please, as we are discussing on this very issue, I want you to keep a clear heart on this very topic. We are going to talk about some important issues. Why is it that other indigenous tribes in the contraption called Nigeria are seeing Igbos as a soft target? The Igbo.biafrans, they are always seen as a soft target. Every other indigenous tribe, they are always seeing the Igbo.biafrans as a soft target at all times. Why is it so? That is the question we are going to look into today. Name calling, demonizing and dehumanizing and all manner of things against the Igbo.biafrans. Why is it so? I want us to discuss this very issue with a plain heart. I'm not here to preach against any tribe. Neither am I here to preach hate speech. Neither am I here to curse anybody or to talk against anybody. But I'm trying to bring out an important issue that we must not forget. This is something that has to do with every one of us, mainly those of us who are Igbo.biafrans. And for the record, I am an Igbo.biafran. That is why I have the right to speak on this very topic. I have the right to speak on it because it concerns me. It is about me. That is one thing everyone should know. And this advice should go to everybody. If you are not an Igbo.biafran, you have to limit the way you talk about the Igbo.biafran. There are certain issues you must not speak about because you don't know the details. You don't know the pains the Igbo.biafrans are going through and the sufferings they're going through. This is something that has been happening time and time again. And I want to discuss about this topic because of something that a video that has been trending online. A video of the statement of Apostle Johnson Suleiman about the Igbos. That video has been trending. So many people have given their own value. So many people have been speaking a lot of things out of anger. So many people have been supporting. So many people are saying several things. But today, I want to give my opinion on that very video. Every now and again, each time I speak on this very platform, I always try to let people identify ourselves as Biafrans. We identify ourselves as Biafrans, not attaching tribes to ourselves. But each time you try as much as possible to stay away from these tribal issues, you find out that they continue to attach tribe. They continue to attach tribe. They continue to push you to that direction to speak about it. And that is why I have to speak about it today. I'm not speaking about it out of hatred. I'm not speaking about it out of anger, but I'm trying to point out some important issues about the alteration of Apostle Johnson Suleiman. Apostle Johnson Suleiman made a video that he mailed, and he used some certain words that are very annoying, that are not supposed to be used. He said so many things on that video, which he is not supposed to say. In fact, he has no right to stand on judgment on those topics that he was discussing, on the way he drove the topic, in as much as he was trying to go to a direction that was supposed, his message was supposed to be, the way I saw it, his message was supposed to be about unity, protecting your own brother and your sister. That was supposed to be his message. That was to be his message, being your brother's keeper. That was what I saw. That was supposed to be the title of that message, being your brother's keeper. But he narrowed it down and began to talk about the Igbo.biafrans instead of generalizing his topic. If he has made it an open topic to generalize, to make it an open topic to discuss about people considering themselves, people loving themselves, people protecting themselves, it would have been better. But when he came and began to narrow it down to the Igbos, that is where he got it wrong. That is why he got it all wrong. But when you check from the beginning of the message he was about to preach was the message of unity. Unity at home, love for yourself. Love for yourself before you talk about loving somebody, because if you don't love yourself, you can't love another person. You must love yourself before you love someone else. That was where the message of Johnson Suleiman was going. But he went out of the message and ran into talking about the Igbos. And that was where he got it all wrong. And every example that he was using, every illustration he was doing, given there, were totally wrong, absolutely wrong. And this is what every other indigenous tribe have been doing. Each time they see the Igbo.biafrans as a soft target, because whenever you speak about them, you get more audience. When you speak about the Igbo.biafrans on a negative form, you get more support and you get a large audience. That is why so many indigenous tribes have fallen aside from the real thing. They seem not to see the good aspect of the Igbos, and most of the time they try to go to that negative side to begin to push a message that is wrong. I would like us to listen to that message of Apostle Johnson Suleiman once again. When we listen to that message, then we can now begin to discuss the message for you to know actually where he was coming from before he got it wrong. From the onset, the message was good, as I was told you. He had an intention of preaching a message of unity, loving yourself, loving yourself. You have to love yourself before you love someone else. Being good at home, you have to be good from home before. That was the message he wanted to preach. But I don't know why he decided to narrow it down to the Igbos. He has no right to narrow such message down. He has no right to do such. He has no right to narrow it down to that sort, to such a level. If he has kept it the way he started the message, if he had kept it the way the message was supposed to be, nobody's going to get offended. It will be a lesson to everybody to learn. But he decided to use a form that was very, very annoying and very, very provocative. And many people didn't get the message. Even when they got the message, they refused to accept it because of the way he preached the message. That is why I asked on the topic, I said, why is it that Igbos are always seen as a soft target? Every other indigenous tribe, they always see Igbos as a soft target, the Igbo.biafrans. Why? Why is it so? Now, let us listen to that message that Johnson Suleiman preached, and let us listen to it. After listening to that message, then we will talk about it. Let's watch.
Somebody from the south, somebody from the east, you betray your people. Look at this agitation now for this. Is it Biafra? Biafra. Look at the agitation. Who are the people attacking Biafra most? Igbos. Shameless Igbos. Am I in support of Nigeria dividing? No. Am I in support of Nigeria separating?
Sorry, it didn't start from where I wanted him to start. I want him to start from where he was talking about. When he started the message about preaching, he talked about the South. He talked about the South, South, and the Southeast. He mentioned Southern and South before he
Somebody
went
from the South,
out of board.
somebody from the East. You betray your people.
You heard him. He said, somebody from the South, somebody from the East, you betray your people. That very point is very important. That is where I want everybody to listen and watch. When he was starting that message, he had a good intention of preaching unity. We loving ourselves first before we love someone else. It doesn't matter your tribe. It doesn't matter your region. He was trying to preach a message of self-preservation. Self-preservation. Preserve yourself first before you begin to talk about preserving somebody else. And he was talking about the South-South and the Southeast. But for one reason or the other, he escaped from what he was trying to preach and began to talk about the Igbo.biafrans alone. And he went outside and began to use some language that was supposed to, even when he was calling names, even though from onset, when you look from the beginning, you will see that he wasn't referring to the whole Igbos, but the way he started and began to preach, he got it all wrong. It went on. Let us listen carefully again. Watch when he mentioned the South-South and the Southeast.
Somebody from the South, somebody from the East, you betray your people. Look at this agitation now for this, is it Biafra? Biafra. Look at the agitation. Who are the people attacking Biafra most? Igbos. Shameless Igbos. Am I in support of Nigeria dividing? No. Am I in support of Nigeria separating? No. Do I believe we should be together? Yes. But even if you don't agree with the man who is your brother, should you say it publicly if you are not a fool? Can't you say it amongst your people? If today they get that Biafra, it's an Igbo man that will scatter it. That's the truth. Wait. During the time of the Senate, when an Igbo man became a senator, it was an Igbo man that removed him. You remember the Enwerem, Chuba Okadigbo, Payosanyim? You remember all of them? It was Igbo that was removing Igbo. That was the first and the shortest Senate presidency we have had in this country. An Igbo man employs an Igbo boy to sell in his shop. He will wreck him. He will carry all the man's money, be buying land, he won't wait to be settled. The problem of Igbo is Igbo. I repeat it, if you sell your brother, even the buyers will not trust you. Even if my brother is saying something that is wrong, I'm going to correct him, but I will not do that publicly.
You see, when you watch the message he was preaching, just as I explained from the beginning, he started very good. He was trying to preach a message of self-preservation. Self-preservation. And it's not just about the Igbo. He said South, then he said Southeast. I mean, he said South-South and Southeast. When he was talking about South, he was trying to generalize the message. But all of a sudden, he began to narrow it down to only the Igbos, which are always their soft target. For a reason best known to them, I don't know why the Igbos are always their soft target. And where again he got it wrong, in preaching the message of self-preservation, he has no right to mention Biafra for the fact that he said that he wants Nigeria to remain together. He is in support of one Nigeria. He is not in support of Biafra. He has no right to use Biafra as an example. He has no right to use Biafra as an example, as long as he doesn't support Biafra, because he himself is from a Biafra land. He himself, where he's come from, is Biafra land. The South-South he is claiming he's come from is Biafra land. So for the fact that he is not in support of Biafra, him using Biafra as an example, he has failed it. He has no right to mention Biafra in that very thing he was saying. In that message, he has no right to mention Biafra whatsoever. He has no right to mention Biafra. For him to open his mouth and say he wants Nigeria to be together, he wants Nigeria to remain together, he is not in support of the separation. He has no right to talk about it because Biafra wants to have self-determination. That is what Biafra stands for. Self-determination. We want to be on our own. So Suleiman, who doesn't believe in Biafra, doesn't have any right to tell us who is fighting against Biafra and who is not fighting against Biafra. Suleiman himself is standing against Biafra. So why would he be the one to tell us who is fighting against Biafra and who is not fighting against Biafra? Why will he be the one to tell us who is fighting against Biafra? He himself is in Biafra land and he is fighting against Biafra. So the message is against himself. He is not supposed to use Biafra as his example at any point in time. That is why he got it wrong. In as much as he calls himself apostle or whatever, he got it all wrong. I wish he preached his self-preservation, preached the self-determination, self-preservation. I wish he preached it without mentioning the Igbos, without mentioning the Biafra issue. Preach it generally and advise people to preserve themselves. Take care of yourself before you talk about taking care of another person. Love yourself before you think about loving someone else. Let it be a general message. It will be good. But he decided to narrow it down to the Igbos because that is where he's going to catch up with his crowd. That is where he's going to get more support. Why is it that we are Igbos, the Igbo.biafrans are always a soft target for them? Why? And he went on to begin to give example of politicians. He gave the example of senators who were removed. He said their brothers keep removing them. Nobody removed any senior president. There is no Igbo person that has the power to remove any Igbo senior president. The only person who was manipulating the removal of the senior president was the president at that time, which is Obasanjo. Only the president can manipulate such a thing. If you cannot know, if you are not around then, you didn't know what happened. Look at what happened during the time of Saraki. Look at what happened during the time of Saraki. When Saraki was the senior president, the whole manipulation that was coming from the presidency. And without the connivance and the approval of the presidency, you cannot remove him. And when you talk about Igbos removing Igbo and put Igbo, the slot was already meant for the Igbos. The Southeast owned the slot. So when the person there did not dance to the tune of the president will remove the person and put someone else from the Southeast who he feel will dance to his tune. And when that same person did not dance to the tune of the president will remove him and put someone else. So I don't know why someone like Suleiman does not have such knowledge to know that it is not Igbos that were removing the senior president. There was no Igbo that was involved in removing senior president of Igbo and put another Igbo senior president, removing Igbo senior president and put another one. The only man that was manipulating that was Obasanjo at that time. The president at that time was the one who was manipulating it. And the example, if you don't know, maybe you were not there then, the example is the one that happened during the tenure of Muhammadu Buhari. Muhammadu Buhari did everything possible to remove Saraki because Saraki was not approving those things he was pushing to him. He was not approving them. Saraki was not approving them until they tried and manipulated until they decided to push him away when they got the majority. And during this time, this Suleiman was given this very thing. Obasanjo have all the Senate on his side. PDP have the majority. They can vote out anybody they want to vote out. They can sack anybody they want to sack as a senior president. They can do it easily. But during the time of Saraki, it wasn't easy because the PDP then and APC, they had a kind of squabbles. They were not agreeing, and they could not have that consensus to remove Saraki. That was why Saraki stayed long. So when he was giving an example of that very Senate, Igbo removed this one, that was a manipulation, a lie in the altar. And Suleiman should know better. You don't lie in the altar. Assuming you are not sure. If you're not sure about it, don't talk about it. And I can't say you're not sure because this is not the first time Suleiman is using that example. Suleiman have used that example before. I don't know the reason why people cannot point it out to him and lecture him and tell him that that example he's using is wrong. It's wrong. There is no Igbo person that is removing any senior president. It is not the Igbos that remove the senior president. And why they remove the person and an Igbo person comes in again is because the slot is for the people from the South. As long as the person there is not playing to the tune of the presidency will manipulate the House. We manipulate the lawmakers to make sure that they remove the person who is in power, who is there. So how does it become the Igbos removing Igbo and putting Igbo? Those are the lies that he was pushing forward. Those are lies. And then he went ahead to give example of Igbo traders who are training their brothers that they will not even be patient to finish their business, and then they will begin to build houses and build. These things are manipulation. And you forgot that the Igbos, why they survive today is because Igbos have settled themselves. 80% of Igbos that are successful in business today were settled by the masters. Go and check, even up to today, there are still so many Igbos who are serving their masters who have been settled. The people who you are taking that are manipulating their masters or taking one or the other from them, they are just minute, not up to 1%. They are not up to 1%. And why are you now trying to blow that out of proportion? You blow it out of proportion, then you now use it to overshadow every good thing that the Igbos are doing. These Igbos are talking about, it is about themselves and them. You are not an Igbo. It is about themselves. They protect themselves, they help themselves, and they survive among themselves. And look at him using that example. He used every example he used. That is to show you that he just wanted to use the Igbos as a soft target and follow the attack. He started well. Initially, he mentioned South and Southeast. And he was talking about self-preservation. So why don't you remain on that base of self-preservation? People to love themselves. Love yourself before you love someone else. Why don't you remain there before you begin to graduate, before you take it out of proportion? He didn't remain there. He now just focused on the target, which is Igbos, a place you know that everybody will support you. He began to preach about the Igbo.biafrans. You are not a Biafran. For the fact that you don't support Biafra, even though you are a Biafra and you don't support Biafra, that makes you not qualified to use Biafra as example on such situation. Because you yourself is a saboteur. You are sabotaging your people. You are also sabotaging your people. And then you went ahead to use an example of Senate president. Senate president that everybody know that it is not the Igbos that manipulate who goes there and who does not. The person who can have the power to manipulate such a thing is the presidency. Obasanjo, as at that time, was doing the manipulation. And while you were seeing Igbos coming out and coming out, it was their slot. When Obasanjo brings the person and the person is not in agreement with him, doesn't agree with whatever he said, he will manipulate and remove him and put someone else. But it's only in the mouth of Suleiman that I have always had it. This is not the first time. I'm going to play another video where you will see where he was using the same illustration, the same wrong illustration. You talk about the Igbos don't love themselves. Can you tell me any tribe in that country called Nigeria that love themselves more than the Igbos? Love is not just in your mouth. You want to express love. It's not just by saying it. It's not just by saying it in your mouth. It's not just by pretending. People who are acting love, they act it. They put love in action. Can you tell me if any tribe in Nigeria that put love in action apart from the Igbos? It is the Igbos that introduce what you call the town union. When you talk about town union, it is the Igbos that introduces a town union where the whole Igbos gather together and know about themselves. They gather together, talk about themselves. They are the only people, the major people who know that when something happens, they can gather together. When their brother die abroad, they will bring the corpse back home and make sure that the person returns home. They are the people who, it was even because of their love and support for each other, that was why they were able to survive the Civil War. 3 good years, Civil War. 3 good years, Civil War. The reason why they survived is because of the love. There is no other tribe that can survive what the Igbo survived during the Civil War. It was only love that made them to survive. Even when everything they had that was taken away from them, only 20 pounds was given to every Igbo person. No matter their half, you have an account. Every Igbo person that has money in the bank, no matter the amount you have, they give you 20 pounds. Do you know how they managed to succeed? They managed to survive out of support for each other. They carried each other in their shoulders. Out of love for one another. They built themselves up. They did everything together. There is no other tribe in Nigeria that can survive what the Igbos survive and have the love the Igbos have. It is because of the love of Igbos. That is why today, poverty rate in Igbo land is lowest. Poverty rate in Igbo land today is the lowest. Is the lowest because they carried each other along. Go and check when you're hearing about Alaba International, all the international market you're hearing about. Go and check. You will see that 80% of the people who were seen there were settled with their master who they served in that market. Some of them were brought from the village. It is among the Igbos you will see people who will go and see a road outside, see a business outside. They will come and bring their brother and teach him that business. Not only teaching him, and they will settle him and give him money to start. It is the Igbo people that brought the idea of you don't have enough money to do a business. This one will bring money, this one will bring some money. So they put the money together and now they will do that business and forge ahead and form a very big company. What are you telling me? What are you not telling me? But every time you see them begin to use some minor issues to begin to preach something and say Igbos are this, Igbos are this, Igbos are that, Igbos are that, Igbos are this. You talk about even the Biafra, he doesn't even have any right to mention Biafra struggle, because when you talk about the Biafra struggle, there is no struggle on the planet Earth where you do not have misunderstanding. That it has never happened. Any struggle you see on the planet Earth, any place you see people fighting for their freedom, there is always that division. There is always argument and division. There is always misunderstanding. There is no place on the planet Earth where you do not have such misunderstanding. But that doesn't mean that the people don't know what they're looking for. They are still pursuing their freedom. And if you tell me, and for him coming to tell me that when you get the Biafra today, it is the Igbo that will destroy it, he has no right to say such. He has no right to say such. Because he himself supposedly is supposed to be a Biafra. He had rejected somebody like him will be the ones that will make sure that the Biafra didn't come. And even if Biafra come, that it will not stand. Somebody like Suleiman will be praying that Biafra never comes. Because he said it openly that he doesn't support the breaking of Nigeria. He doesn't want everybody to be together. For him to mention that and say it and defend it, he is even praying for Biafra not to come. Even though when you check very well, he is part of the Biafra. And he is there preaching against himself. He decided to narrow it down to the Igbo.biafrans, because that is where they always have their soft landing. That is where they always have people who will support them. That is where they will always have a view that they feel that people will buy. Why do they always make the Igbo.biafrans a soft target? Why? This is the evil the Fulani Caliphate have planted. The evil that the Fulani Caliphate have planted, it is still ringing bell in their head. Upon all the messages that our Sula Mazen Nan have preached, Mazen Nan they can preach and preach and preach and preach. And so many people in the coastal region have woken up. So many of our Biafran brothers have woken up. But some people are still bent on revising and bringing back all those evil talks. Every time you hear Igbos don't love themselves, tell me, which people have made their own people more successful than the Igbos? Which people? Which people have made their people much more successful than the Igbos? When you talk about donations, go and check any platform where you see people raising funds or NGOs. Go and see the highest donor in NGOs. The ordinary people who don't have Igbos, they give. They give. It is only within the Igbos you see Igbos, they raise funds to do all manner of things for their own people. They raise funds at every given point in time. Once you mention it, you mention raising of funds, they will always support. Even if it is not an Igbo person, you will see them supported. You will see them supported. And they were the one that introduced it. The issue of raising funds to build houses, the issue of raising funds to support villages, and it was them that started it. It was the Igbos. Take, for example, during the time of COVID-19. During the time of COVID-19, did you see any help coming from anybody to the Igbo people? Did you see anybody giving Igbos anything? In the north, the federal government were feeding them. In the southwest, even the Igbos were giving them. In the Igbo land, who was giving them? It is the Igbos themselves that were feeding their brothers and sisters. During the COVID-19, during the lockdown, it was the Igbos that were feeding themselves. And still somebody will come and tell you that Igbos don't love themselves. This issue of traveling, when Nigeria began to travel, it was the Igbos that traveled out. They were the first people that started traveling, began to travel. They were people that traveled in majority. Why are they the majority abroad? It is the Igbos that travel. When they travel, they saw that the place they will come. They will use their money and sponsor their brother to come abroad without paying a penny. They will use their money, sponsor their own brother. They take their brother. They will take their brother. They will take their sister along. They take their family. They take even their in-laws. That is why you see many of them out there. If they don't take you, they will give you connection and tell you how to go about it, and you come over there. But in other tribes, there are so many tribes in Nigeria where you see when they take you to go abroad, they will turn you as a slave. He didn't see that. There are some tribes, when they take you to go abroad, they will carry you from Nigeria, take you to any part of the world, and they will make you a slave in that place. You will pay from your, you will serve them. After serving them, you will not even have your body to even live for your own money. That one doesn't matter. That one is love. You damn it as love. Which tribe have made their people much more successful than the Igbos? Tell me. In that contraption called Nigeria, which tribe have affected the life of their people more than the Igbos? Which tribe? In that contraption called Nigeria, you talk about the northern part of Nigeria. Northern part of Nigeria, they have the richest man in Africa. They have the richest man in Africa. How comes they are the poorest? How come they are the poorest? How come? How come they are the poorest in that contraption called Nigeria? But they have the richest. But every time you see them begin to push all this false information, they push it out, and some people begin to buy into it. When they push all those negative things about the Igbos, people begin to, that is their soft landing space for them. It's already a soft landing ground for them, because each time they speak about it, you see people begin to follow them. And why it is moving forward, because the Igbos are so accommodating that even when you are insulting them, they accommodate. So many of our Igbo people, when you insult them, they accommodate. They will even stay there and begin to watch you insult them. They accommodate a lot. Igbos are much so accommodating to a fault. That is why they are being used as a soft target. Can you go and insult all the Hausas and insult them to their eyes? You dare not do it. Will you go and insult an Oduduwa man in his presence? You dare not do it because it's going to bounce back. But Igbos are those who can tolerate. And that is why most of the time, when I speak on my channel, I tell you, when you see Igbo person begin to demonize the Igbos, begin to talk about Igbos are betraying Igbos, I don't want to hear it in my ears. I don't want to hear it. I tell my fellow Biafran Igbos, Igbo.biafrans, stop using such language. Stop using such language. Betrayers are everywhere. There are betrayers in all tribes, in all language, in all religion, everywhere you have betrayers. You have good people everywhere and you have bad people everywhere. And the large percentage of people in the Igbo land are good people, wonderful people. Large percentage of them. The people you are talking about are just very minority, very minor people. But because Igbos are people who are very loud and they are loud and they are loud and they tolerate and condone to a fault. To a fault. Just like Suleiman was saying. When he was talking about people saying they talk the truth. Igbos, you see them when something has to do with their brother, they will say they will not hide him. I'm stuck for the truth. He said, yes, our people say, our people are doing it. What do you mean by your people are doing it? What do you mean by your people are doing it? Is there any tribe in this planet Earth that I don't have the evil men? Is there any planet Earth that you have evil men? Look at him giving the example of Igbos removing Igbos in Senate. He forgot that when we have the president in Nigeria, when Shagari was ruling Nigeria, who removed Shagari? Who removed Shagari? Was it an Igbo person that removed Shagari? It was this same Muhammad Buhari that removed Shagari, overthrew Shagari. And who removed Muhammad Buhari? It was Babangida, a fellow Northern also, that overthrew them, overthrew his own brother. Buhari overthrew Shagari, his brother, and Babangida overthrew Buhari himself. You wouldn't see that to give us an example. Even in the Southwest, who were the people that manipulated, that made, what do they call him? That made Awolowo not to be able to have his stance in politics. The people who fought against Awolowo when Awolowo was there was the people from the Southwest. They stood against him. Abiola that died, who were the people who were making sure, working on the ground to make sure that Abiola doesn't become the president of Nigeria? It was people from the Southwest. They were the people. But nobody wants to use that as an example. Each time they want to use such evil example, they will always narrow it down to the Igbo.biafrans. They will always narrow it down to the Igbo.biafrans. What has Igbo.biafrans done wrong to all this set of people? Why? Why is it that you're always talking about the Igbo.biafrans? Why is it that you cannot? Why is it that you're always using the Igbo.biafrans as a soft-landed? It is high time we walk away from all this nonsense. And Igbo.biafrans, it is high time you stop condoning those evils. Stop supporting such kind of ideas or languages. Don't support it. When you see people derogating or talking down on your tribe in your presence, do not join them to talk down on yourself. Do not derogate yourself. Don't join them to begin to talk on such kind of issues. Don't support them and don't laugh at it. Don't laugh at it. Don't smile at it. Don't smile at it. We have to do everything possible to change that narrative. Change that narrative. The narrative that the Janjaweed have planted in the heart and mind of every indigenous tribe in the country of Nigeria. Every day they are still seeing us, up till now, they are still seeing us as being domineering. That message that Ahmadu Bello preached, that message of Ahmadu Bello that he preached, that message is still sounding thick in their head. That message of Ahmadu Bello, it is still ringing bell in their head. And we have to stop it. Igbo.biafrans have done a lot of good things. But each time they want to have their soft landing, they will begin to use the negative part of it. And you'll be surprised. You will see this same Suleiman where he was talking about the Igbo.biafrans on the positive side. On the positive side, when the Chukwuka arrested him and he began to talk on the positive side, he will talk on the positive side. But at the end of it, he will begin to use all those wrong narratives. I want you to watch another of his video where he was talking about the Igbo.biafrans. Watch this video and see what he has to say on this very one.
I suggest What we need in Nigeria now is an Igbo president. An Igbo president. You want to create a job for youths? Get an Igbo president. The Igbo man by nature knows how to do business. So if he adds academic to it, he will know how to create jobs. But let me tell you the problem. When the Igbo man becomes president, the person that will remove him is an Igbo man. When there was Senate presidency, that was the first time in Nigeria. In 4 years, we had 5 Senate presidents. From Emwerem to Okadigbo. Okadigbo, Nnamani. Nnamani, Payosanyim.
You see him using that same stupid example. You see him. He's still using that same foolish example he used. He's still using it. I don't know why people cannot call his attention to educate him. This is somebody who claims to be whatever he calls himself. Whatever he calls himself, he's still using that same wrong example. He's still using that same wrong example. How does the Igbo people have the power to remove a Senate president? How? How? How will it be the Igbo people that will remove a Senate president? How will they remove a Senate president? The only person that have the power to manipulate the removal of the Senate president is the president himself. As long as the president have the majority of support in the House of Assembly, they will remove anybody they want to remove. If you're not dancing to the tune of the president, he will remove you. How is that the problem of the Igbo speaking people? How is it their problem? Even after he has identified that Igbos have something to offer, he has identified that the Igbos have the slot, he has identified that it is Igbos that will create the change, he is still going back on that wrong narrative that he's pushing. Very, very wrong narrative that doesn't hold water. That message of the caliphate, he's still bent on preaching that message of the caliphate. I don't know if it is because his name is Suleiman, that is why he keep on going there. If it is because his name is Suleiman, it is high time he go and baptize himself and even change that name Suleiman. What is the meaning of Suleiman as a Christian? He should change that name. That is why he's getting more confused. Using wrong examples on when he is making issues, he'll be using very wrong examples. Listen to him again and see the kind of thing he said. Listen to him again.
Talk to you on what I suggest. What we need in Nigeria now is an Igbo president. An Igbo president. You want to create a job for youths? Get an Igbo president. The Igbo man by nature knows how to do business. So if he adds academic to it, he will know how to create jobs. But let me tell you the problem. When the Igbo man becomes president, the person that will remove him is an Igbo man. When there was Senate presidency, that was the first time in Nigeria. In 4 years, we had 5 Senate presidents. From Emwerem to Okadigbo. Okadigbo, Nnamani. Nnamani, Payosanyim. Igbo brothers kept removing themselves. The problem with the Igbos is that they fight themselves. That is why Masob can say, I'm not part of IPOB. IPOB can say, we are not Igbos. Even if Masob is not part of IPOB, Igbo is not part of IPOB, you don't say it publicly. You don't fight your brother publicly. Have a quiet meeting and address the wrong things you think are being done. That is why I cannot insult a pastor who insults me. If you are a Christian and you speak against me, if I've ever done it, I regret it. I will never stand to speak against, whether you are interpreting the Bible rightly or wrongly. So long you say Jesus, I will not fight you, because my Bible tells me in Matthew 12:25, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. In Christianity, there is no.
You see, this is the problem I have with this man. Some of them, when they when they talk, they think we are ignorant. We don't know what we are saying. They think we have no brains. This man that is taking, I have seen several of his videos where he was preaching against his fellow pastor, where he was attacking a pastor, simply because the pastor said something about the person he claimed to be his spiritual father. I have seen him attack pastors who talked against his spiritual father. Christians like himself, on several videos. He said if you have seen him done that, he's sorry. You said if you have seen you done that, you are sorry. But now you are standing now condemning people who are doing the same thing you are doing. Instead of you telling them to be sorry, you are now even going out of line to talk things that are irrelevant. This is how inconsistent and uncontrolled these people are in their statement. They always tell you half-truth. When they tell you half-truth, in order to protect themselves, they will continue to dance on a different platform. When you talk about IPOB and Masob, IPOB and Masob, they were not operating at the same level, and they didn't operate at the same time. They were not operating at the same level. Everybody knows that IPOB is much more active than Masob. And Masob and IPOB are not at war. Masob and IPOB are not at war. You haven't seen anywhere where they say they were shooting themselves or killing each other. They're not at war. But you see them preaching that message. When somebody hear him, you think that Masob and IPOB are at war. They're not at war. When South Africa was fighting for their independence, there were so many groups in South Africa. It is not only the NCNC. It is not only the ANC that were fighting in South Africa. There were some other groups in South Africa that were fighting for their independence. So whatever you see happening in Biafra land, it is not just, it didn't start in Biafra land. It has happened in so many other places. But why is it that when it happened among the Igbo.biafrans, people blew it out of proportion? They begin to give it name. They give it title. They make it seem as if it is something that is not happening in another place. Meanwhile, the evil that is happening in other places and other tribes are much more greater than that you see in Biafra land. They are much more greater than that you see among the Igbo.biafrans. The only difference is that Igbo.biafrans are people who cannot keep quiet when they see something happen. They must speak out and shout.
Are yet to wake up from your slumber or your sleep and get the point that we are exiting Nigeria. Exiting Nigeria is not going to come from the platter of golden plate. You have to sacrifice for it. And we are ready to sacrifice everything, including you, if you come and stand on the way of freedom. So you need to know how serious we are. We are damn serious. Some of you are not getting it. You think we are here to build political movement? We are here for freedom. Freedom comes with price. Okay? The only thing you can do is to comment on social media. Don't ever stand on the way of Biafra freedom. We crush you.
Their interest is suppressed. Biafra is the key. Once they can hold Biafra down, they can hold the whole of Africa down. Hey, freedom fighting, sorry. Because all these people are criminals, they are saying there is no way this man cannot be a criminal like themselves. They don't have a different breed altogether. They don't know that. I am Nnamdi Kanu. I don't do all this nonsense you do. My father was a very rich man, not ostentatious. I had the finest education that his money could afford. We are not poor. Have never been. That is why a poor man cannot be a freedom fighter. If you're not full of yourself, you cannot be a freedom fighter. You go everywhere. We must continue.